ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa is currently in a meeting with the governing party's top officials at an undisclosed location. This meeting follows a plethora of other meetings, including with the leadership of the SABC and Consultation last week. The country is expecting the president to reshuffle his cabinet. Initial media reports had suggested that the changes in the executive would be announced this past weekend. But that was not to be. It remains to be seen whether Ramaphosa will announce the changes in cabinet this week or today. All right, for more on this, we're joined in studio by our senior politics reporter, Samkele Maseko. Very good afternoon to you, Samkele. All right, one can tell that the venue is undisclosed because you're here with me instead of at this venue. All right, so I understand that the negotiations, or what you're calling consultations, are currently underway. What is the latest? What do you know at this point, seeing as it is kind of closed off at the moment?
It's very closed off, these consultations that are currently taking place. We do know that the ANC President met with the alliance partners, Consultation and the SABC, briefed them on the pending cabinet reshuffle. The only conundrum which makes the President not to be able to do the imminent cabinet reshuffle this past weekend or even today is that there is a state visit by the Ugandan President tomorrow at the Union buildings, where the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, will be there as well. Just this morning, he was also busy with his official duties as the Minister of Transport, as opposed to him having to vacate his ministry position and vacate as a Member of Parliament to go to Luthuli House to be the full-time Secretary General of the ANC. But the main impediment that is inhibiting this imminent cabinet reshuffle from taking place is that all-important new ministry, the ministry of the Minister of Electricity, or the Minister of Electricity, basically. That is the main hindrance of why this cabinet reshuffle cannot take place at this point in time, because that is an interim ministry that is being created to deal with this load shedding, and that particular individual does not have to be a Member of Parliament for them to be appointed as the Minister of Electricity, because they come with a specific job and a specific speciality that they have to perform to eradicate load shedding within the country.
All right, so it's safe to say, though, having said everything that you've said, that this imminent reshuffle, which has been imminent for some time, is now, in fact, really imminent. I mean, you were talking about the swearing in of certain ministers. We saw that happening before, where some people were being sworn in into Parliament. But now you're saying there's more that is happening to shed more light into what those movements could possibly be.
There are more movements, particularly emanating also from the Free State Province, with Sisi Ntombela vacating as the Premier of the North of the Free State Province, and also the possibility of Dibelelo Mahlatsi, ANC MP, Deputy Secretary of the ANC in the Free State, resigning as a Member of Parliament, being sworn in as a member of the provincial legislature within the Free State, as there is that gap now that has been left by Sisi Ntombela, which would mean there would be a gap if Dibelelo Mahlatsi were to leave in the National Assembly, a gap for Sisi Ntombela, for instance, to be sworn in as a Member of Parliament. But also, interestingly, the President has 3 individuals that he can appoint to the executive of the country whom are non-members of Parliament. Right now, all 3 spots have been taken. You've got Ibrahim Patel, the Minister of Trade and Industry in the country, is not a Member of Parliament. You've got Madiba Enoch Godongwane, the Minister of Finance. He's not a Member of Parliament. And you've also got Thembi Nkadimeng, who is the Deputy Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, who's also not a Member of Parliament. That is why the cabinet reshuffle is not taking place, because one of these 3 has to be sworn in as a Member of Parliament to open up space for the President to appoint a non-member of Parliament as the Minister of Electricity in the country. And that is why the governing party has decided to make Enoch Godongwane a Member of Parliament on the virtue that is already the Minister of Finance. And they would then be creating space in the National Assembly for him to be sworn in as a Member of Parliament. It's not yet clear who will be resigning in order to make space for Enoch Godongwane to be sworn in as a Member of Parliament, because Fikile Mbalula is still an MP. The outgoing Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, David Mabuza, is still also a Member of Parliament and also the Deputy President of the country. So the governing party has to create that space for Enoch Godongwane this week to be sworn in as a Member of Parliament, and then only the President can reshuffle cabinet and appoint a non-member of Parliament to be the Minister of Electricity in the country, because it will definitely be a non-member of parliament, because those are the discussions he was having with alliance partners.
Well, we'd like to assume that, whoever would be appointed, it's all about competence, but, we're talking politics here, so it's competence versus allegiance. And some have, expressed during the elective conference in December that they're not necessarily aligned to the incumbent. And I'll give the example of Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. Where would she stand in all of what's about to take place, according to what you've heard or seen?
The irony with Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma is that many people are thinking that she may be reshuffled. I don't see her being reshuffled, on the virtue that KZN is a very important voting bloc. She seemed to have a very strong constituency within the African National Congress, as opposed to a person like Lindiwe Sisulu, who does not have a very strong constituency within the African National Congress. You go to individuals such as Phumulo Moswale as well, who don't have a very strong base and constituency within the African National Congress. Just look at the voting tally at the ANC's 55th National Conference. Look at how the province of KwaZulu-Natal, the likes of Bheki Mtolo, the provincial secretary of KwaZulu-Natal, were thrown their weight behind Fikile Mbalula to be Secretary General, as opposed to what they had pronounced of Phumulo Moswale as the Secretary General of the ANC. That tells you that the political tectonic plates have shifted within the governing party. Those whom used to have a strong base going to the ANC's 54th National Conference, that base has been eroded over a period of time. You look at the likes of Nathi Mthethwa, not in the NEC of the ANC, not in the NWC, who's pretty much now, whose political survival is squarely dependent on the relationship he may have through friendship-wise, comrade-wise, or even through competency as the Minister of Sports and Recreation within the country, which many people have simply said he's not performing and is not up to that specific task. So those are the issues that the President will be playing around, but I don't see Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma being reshuffled.
Samkele Maseko, many thanks to your senior politics reporter there, of course, talking to us on the back of those consultations that are currently underway with the party president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa. Of course, speaking to some of those that we expect might or might not be reshuffled, that imminent cabinet reshuffle. We'll see when that indeed does happen.